Brothers and sisters, nation is risen against nation, and kingdom is risen against kingdom. The cities of the nations are fallen, and the day of the wrath of God is imminently approaching. The war between Israel and Hamas is a great catalyst to a much bigger crisis that is on the horizon. My friends, this world is in great turmoil, and the winds which are being held back by the four angels in the book of Revelation chapter 7, even what we are seeing right now, the winds are being let loose bit by bit. The shaking is here. The world is being shaken. The sealing time is here, and it is about to close. My friends, a great pestilence is on the horizon. A pestilence known as Disease X. This Disease X, mingled with the political instabilities, kingdoms being divided from within, nations rising up against nation and turning against their own selves. These are signs and an omen that is revealing a self-destructing world. Make sure you understand this, that all of this is happening just at the close of 2023, even as the world is about to enter into 2024 election year. Even if this war was to cease, even if this war were to be put on hold, I tell you, it will come back and take another form, and it will be much more worse. This war has a potential of pulling in the superpowers even to get involved. This war has the potential to cause high tensions between the Arab world and the Israelis, between the Arab nations and the Western civilizations. It's surely time for the people of God to go into country living. It's time to go into country living. Brothers and sisters, have your own garden, have your own crops, your own seed. It's time to have your own well, and self-reliance, self-sufficiency must surely be what the people of God work towards now. It's time for us to band together and to work together. Friends, let this not be delayed any further. If you stay a little while longer in this video, there is a proposal which I am bringing to all of you. That proposal has to do with us banding together and working together and coming to establish communities, even sanctuaries outside of the cities. It's time to have self-sufficient, self-reliant, small group of people. Friends, I believe we can achieve this. With this proposal that I'm bringing before all of you, there is a GoFundMe attached to it. However, there's much more information about this. We are going to carry on with the video. Stay tuned, and we are going to break it down as we get there. Friends, we are about to witness the greatest economic collapse in the history of the world. And it will not be local. Rather, it will be worldwide. That being said, let's go to the east.
I've often said, Mr. President, if there were not an Israel, we'd have to invent one.
It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
Straight from the horse's mouth, you heard Joe Biden speak out of his own mouth that if there were not an Israel, they would have to go and invent an Israel. Now, we're going to examine how these Europeans invented an Israel. Remember that Americans are Europeans. They came from Europe to colonize this land called America and made it their own. This is no different than what is happening in the land called Israel. You will see that these Europeans went their way to invent an Israel to protect Their interest, as Biden says, in the region. Those that dwell in the land of Israel, these are not Israelites. These are Zionists. These are known as Israelis, for they are simply occupants who are occupying a land which belonged to the people of the book. And when I say the people of the book, I'm talking about the people, the true Hebrews, who are scattered among the nations. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have been scattered throughout the nations. They are called the lost tribes of the house of Israel. Brothers and sisters, the people who are in that very land that is called Israel today, these are not the Hebrews. These are not the people of the book. These are simply European Zionist occupants. They are simply political occupants of the land of Israel. I will go one step further and I will call them European colonial occupants who are seeking to colonize the land of Israel, which prior to 1948 was called Palestine. Here is a quick summary of the history of this land that today is called Israel. Number one, before this land, this region was called Israel prior to 1948, the land was recognized by all nations, and every map prior to 1948 acknowledged that region as Palestinian land. This Palestinian land was under the British rule. Question: when did the British gain control of this Palestinian land? Well, they had control of it after the First World War, which would have been in 1918. So from 1918 all the way to 1948, the British were the ones that ruled in that land that was called Palestine, which today now is called Israel. And before Britain captured the land of Palestine, it was under the rule of the Ottoman Empire, which reigned for more than 600 years. But concerning the land of Palestine, the Ottoman Empire would capture that land from about 1517, and they would rule all the way to 1917. Make note that this 400 years under the Ottoman Empire is the reason why many people believe that the people who are in that land today are the actual descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But let me prove to you that all of this was carefully orchestrated by the Rothschild, and this was carefully orchestrated by the European nations and the United Nations in order for these Zionists to go and occupy and infiltrate and subdue this land so that it may pave the way for a counterfeit Messiah. Make note that World War I began in 1914. This First World War would mark the end of the Ottoman Empire. Make sure you understand this, friends. The plan of the destruction of the Ottoman Empire was pre-planned in a secret agreement that involved Great Britain, France, and Imperial Russia. This secret agreement was called the Sykes-Picot Agreement, which is also called the Asia Minor Agreement. In a nutshell, these three kingdoms, Imperial Russia, Great Britain, and France, would agree to divide the Ottoman Empire into divided Arab states. Ultimately, France would take possession of Lebanon and Syria. Great Britain would then take control of Iraq and Palestine, while Imperial Russia would take control of then known Constantinople, which is now called Istanbul. Make note that this Sykes-Picot Agreement was then finalized by May of 1916. The following year, in November of 1917, just prior to the close of the First World War, which would end in 1918, a letter known as the Balfour Declaration of 1917 was written by a British Foreign Secretary, Arthur James Balfour. he wrote and sent this letter to the leader of the Anglo-Jewish community, Lionel Walter Rothschild. That's right, brothers and sisters. The Rothschild family was behind all of this. The Rothschild family funded both sides of World War I. The Rothschild family, they own banks and they own centralized banks. They are the power structure that is feeding the nations with money. Their influence spans all the way from Eastern civilizations to Western civilizations. Why write the Balfour Declaration? It's because the letter is being written to the people who funded them in the first place. Let me put this into perspective that you may understand the big agenda here. Imagine this. The Ottoman Empire rules for 400 years, dominates Palestine and the other Arab countries. And here comes Great Britain in the name of Christianity. Boom, Islam gets conquered. Imagine how Christianity feels knowing now that Great Britain, a Christian nation, has now just conquered the Islamic world. And then Great Britain sets its eyes upon Palestine, and they declare now that Palestine will now officially be a national home for the Jewish people. Can you imagine what mainstream Christianity is going to say? Wow, after 400 years, Israel is finally going home to its native land. No, the truth is, after 400 years of Palestine being given into the hands of the Ottomans, rich and powerful Europeans who own banks and own pretty much all the wealth of the world decided that they were going to officially now play the role of God's chosen people and decided to sell that to Christians. And now everybody believes that these people who are in the land that is now called Israel, they believe that now those people, they are the true people of the book. But the Bible clearly says that the world is given over into the hands of the wicked until the time of the Gentiles is come to an end. Jerusalem, the people of God, will be trodden down. They will be scattered among the nations all the way until the end of time. You know, friends, you can fool people who don't know your true origins, but you can never fool those who know your true origins. Do you understand what I'm saying? Here's what I'm going to quote for you. The Egyptians and the Arab people, they know who the true Hebrews are and how they look. Here's a quote from the late second president of Egypt, Jamal Abdel Nasser, and he made the following statement. He says, "The Jews will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black but came back white." These are his own words, not mine. Now, there's a lot to this, friends. Here is the main thing that I want you to pay attention to now. I want you to acknowledge the following. The Rothschild are connected to a bloodline that is not a holy bloodline. It's not a holy lineage that they come from. That which they are advocating for is actually something which is for a satanic agenda. That being said, friends, I'm going to direct your attention to a famous Freemason by the name of Albert Pike. He's dead now, but I want you to listen to what he spoke concerning the coming Third World War. He had made a prediction that there would be 3 world wars. Listen to what he says about the Third World War. And I quote, "The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by, quote-unquote, agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other." Now make sure you understand this, friends. When he writes concerning the agents of the Illuminati, what you gather from this is that there are agents of the Illuminati on either side of the spectrum. In other words, there are those who are on the side of political Zionists, and you have others who are also on the side of Islam. And these are creating a thesis and an antithesis to bring about a synthesis. And the purpose of this is actually to create a problem that will be worldwide so that a solution which is also worldwide can be brought about to the world. In other words, a new world order. out of chaos. He continues, and I quote, "Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion." The feud that is going on between Israel and Hamas. Friends, while many people may say that this is the war between literal Israel and literal descendants of Ishmael, what I'm going to propose to you is to not look at the physical but look at the spiritual. How so? One thing I'll say is this is a religious war. Ishmael, spiritual Ishmael today is Islam. Spiritual Jacob, not spiritual Israel, spiritual Jacob today is Judaism. Yes, Jacob was given the name Israel, but that was because he overcame. Spiritual Israel are those who accept Jesus Christ. Who is spiritual Jacob today? Spiritual Jacob is Judaism. This is a spiritual war between two religions, two faiths, Islam and Judaism. That's the conflict going on there. The people in the land of Israel are not natural born Hebrews, but rather these are Jews by conversion to the faith of Judaism. This clash has caused much backlash, and protests are sparking all over the world in first world countries, including the United States of America. People who once were friends are now turned against themselves. People who went to school together, even worked together, now they are standing on two opposite sides. One is saying, "I stand for Palestine," another says, "I stand for Israel." One with enmity against the other. Can you see a divided nation? Can you see divided kingdoms? Even as according to the book of Daniel chapter 7, kingdoms of the world are divided, iron and clay. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Brethren, we are in a race against time. We are in a race against time. And even as the sands that pass through the hourglass eventually will come to an end, where there will be no more sand to come down, make sure you take note, brothers and sisters, every grain of sand that passes through the hourglass, every second that ticks for your life is very important. Time itself waits for no man. Despite what you do, you can go ahead and take a break. You can go ahead and pause. Time is still ticking away. Time is constantly ticking away. You can't do anything about it. You have no control over time. One thing we all know is that time is wasting away. Time is going away. And what are people doing? What are you doing with the small time you have left? How much more time do you figure you have in your tank? How much more time do you have? Let's suppose you are a young person, 18 years old. How much time do you think you have? Do you think you have 40 years? How do you know that you will live to wake up tomorrow? You don't know. Our days are numbered, oh brothers and sisters. And even so, as the sands are passing through the hourglass, so likewise, time itself for the world is coming to an end, and soon there will be no more. And people are behaving as though they have lots of time, when in fact there is no more time. No more time. And even so, as the glass is now empty at the very top, no more quicksand, no more sand is coming from the top. Even so, likewise, this is exactly how the world is right now. There is no time for anything. The only thing that should be in your mind is, am I sealed? Am I saved? Am I ready to meet my God? Am I ready to meet the bridegroom when he comes? Because a solemn proclamation shall go out, and it shall cry, a loud cry shall pave the way. Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out and meet him. How will you fare when the bridegroom comes for his bride? That is the question. Ever since 2020 lockdowns, we have heard the media talk about deadly variants, one after another, and they kept announcing that they are getting worse and worse and worse. However, people did not notice anything much different. And so, these are all signs of the boy who cried wolf. Eventually, the mind of man was being conditioned. It is being conditioned because a real threat is going to be announced, and people are going to say, oh, we've heard this before. It surely is not going to come upon us. And that will be the consent that people will have given to these Luciferians. And eventually, because people are going to be desensitized, they are not going to care to even flee the cities, and eventually they will be overcome, even as the boy that cried wolf, all for fun, until a real wolf came. Then nobody believed him, and he was destroyed and killed by the wolf.
The threat of another variant emerging that causes new surges of disease and death remains. When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, we must be ready to answer decisively, collectively, and equitably.
We cannot kick this can down the road. If we do not make the changes that must be made, then who will? And if we do not make them now, and when? When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, we must be ready to answer decisively, collectively, and equitably.
What the World Health Organization has been speaking on and have been putting heavy emphasis upon is what is known as Disease X. Disease X is being mentioned on many news media publications. For example, on this headline, it says, Disease X is coming, and with it, the next global pandemic, scientists warn. Ebola, HIV/AIDS, rabies, and COVID-19 have all spilled from animals to humans and show us the kind of health threat we must be ready to fight.
Scientists talk about Disease X being overdue. Disease X, a new disease, unknown, that is highly infectious, deadly, and mutates easily. So when COVID-19 appeared, people asked whether this was Disease X. COVID-19 has been a disaster for the world, but it is not Disease X. It is by far not the worst new disease that can befall mankind. But it is only a matter of time before Disease X happens. So we had better learn from COVID-19 how to deal with a pandemic and be as ready as we can should a worse one, when a worse one befalls us.
Remember that in the Dark Ages or in the medieval times, in the time of the feudal society, the world witnessed what is called the Black Plague. And when the Black Plague came, many lives were lost. The world was unprepared for it. Now, in this time and age, why must there be a Disease X that no one knows about, but yet it's going to be very deadly? My friends, I believe that all of this have to do with the vial. The vial that has already been given. The vial, I believe, it's my personal opinion, that I believe because we have gone into the realm of mRNA technology and tampering with things at genetic levels, we have opened Pandora's box and have no idea what is about to come out of that box which has just been opened. You cannot go to tamper with things at genetic levels and not expect repercussion. How can you cure something that you know nothing of? Brothers and sisters, this is exactly what the WHO is saying, is that they do not know anything about this. However, it is going to come. Here's the main key of why this is going to be a concern. It's because right now, many things, many diseases, many different illnesses, the symptoms of them are monitored and some may be treated by antibiotics. However, what the scientists and doctors are finding is that now many diseases and many viruses are, even at the genetic levels, developing antibiotic resistance.
antimicrobial resistance. That is what is happening. Remember that a vial had been given to people, and that vial operates by restructuring and reteaching your body on how to develop antibodies. But your body didn't need that to be changed in the first place. God made your body to create its own antibodies all by itself without the aid of men.
The UK's vaccine task force is preparing for the next big health-related catastrophe. They are saying that though disease X could be the next pandemic, the global medical systems need to be prepared well in advance. Some researchers say the spread of disease X has already begun. Scientists say that the virus will be almost 20 times deadlier than COVID-19, and it will have the potential of claiming more than 50 million lives worldwide. It could be caused by a virus, bacteria, or even fungus.
My friends, do not comfort yourselves by staying in the cities. When you stay in the city, you deceive yourself by thinking you have unlimited resources. To remain in the cities, you position yourself to be dependent upon the system to take care of you. In the cities, you are limited. You cannot grow your own garden. You are dependent upon the supermarkets and the grocery stores. That being said, let me bring this to your remembrance. Remember what happened in 2020 when the lockdown happened. How quickly did grocery stores go empty and people were panic buying, and you could not even get there to buy anything because there was massive lineups and there were restrictions as to how many items you can buy. That is what happened during 2020 lockdown. One who wants to take that and ignore it is doing the same mistake that ancient Israel did before they were destroyed in 70 AD. They had a warning in 66 AD, but they did not take that warning seriously. As a result, they were destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Learn a lesson from history. Avoid repeating the same mistakes. Brothers and sisters, it's time for us to come together and accomplish this great work. I think it's time that these church organizations realize that God is using lay people to finish His work, and that their time for putting people to sleep has come to an end. The message for leaving the cities, for fleeing the cities, is now.
This is why I was telling people, country living, country living, country living. But then here is the problem. Many people are saying, well, I can't get out because I cannot afford to get out. Where do I go? Where can I buy land? And you know what, friends? The church is supposed to be doing something about these kind of situations. But the churches don't do that. They don't do it. And then I see people, average people, regular people like you and I, all working individually, trying to be by themselves, trying to make ends meet by themselves, trying to buy land by themselves instead of joining hands and banding up together. Man, in the book of Acts chapter 2, when the Holy Spirit was poured out, man, the church began to grow and the people came together. They put their funds together and they had all things common. Man, they were able to do much things with that. The church had its own land. The church had its own operation. They operated as an entire separate entity. The church is the people. It's you and I, friends. Why is it that today people are too busy, caught up, trying to compete to be better than his brother? Why is it that people are fighting hard to be better than the brothers and sisters, and they're seeking to uplift themselves over them? It doesn't work that way, friends. We are believers. We are people of God. We should be working together.
Brothers and sisters, while I have this influence here on YouTube, let me use it to do this service to God. Now, this which I am proposing to you, friends, is going to be something that will require much funding. It will require the support of everybody, and I know that we can be able to accomplish this. All of you watching this video are very wonderful people, and God is going to use you in a mighty way in these last days. And I believe that God has already given to you the inspiration to even support this work that we are doing. This goal that I'm trying to reach, brothers and sisters, I believe that a mighty work can be done in a short time. Do you believe this? I want this to be an open rebuke to all the so-called church organizations which have deceived the people of God for so long. I want this to be an open rebuke to them so that they can see, whoa, these lay people, they are
are doing much more work than the church organizations. Brothers and sisters, I'm putting a proposal even through this ministry. I'm hosting a GoFundMe, and I want us to be able to raise funds so that this ministry can be able to purchase lands and be able to actually get people. I want to gather people together. I want to gather people together. Small companies, small groups, small families. I believe it's time for God's people to be self-sufficient, self-reliant. They should have off-grid communities. They should have their own gardens. They should have their own water sources. They should be able to have a place that they can be able to walk freely without anybody limiting them and putting restrictions upon them. I believe that we can do this, friends. My Father is the God. He is the Most High God. Why should I aim low? If my Father is the Most High, why should my aim be low? We must aim high for our God. I want to prove to my Father in heaven, I want to prove before the world that God is the God who I worship. He is the true and the living God. I want to prove before all of you that the God whom we worship, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who sent his only begotten Son, Yeshua, HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, into the world. I want to prove to the world that He is my daddy. I want to prove to the world that He is the true and the living God. And I want to prove that there are yet at least 7,000 who have not yet bent the knee to bow down and worship Baal. I'm excited. Though it's a big mountain before me, friends, I'm excited.
Friends, it's possible. We can build solar-powered communities and plant fruit trees everywhere. It's possible. It can be done. The only problem is people have been way too selfish because everybody wants to do their own thing and not want to work together. That's the problem, because everybody wants to compete to be better than his own brother and sister. Friends, we can do this. Now, friends, many of you already know that we are in the business of saving lives and saving souls. There are cases that I'm going to show you right now, which we are also trying to take care of. These are big cases before our hands. However, the God who we worship, He will do a great and a mighty work in a short time. Here are some lives that we are trying to save. There's a woman whose eyes are filled with tears and sorrow because she has been forsaken of all family and has been cast away as a very profane and an abominable creature. This woman, all she has is tears. My brothers and sisters, let this not be hidden from you. Observe for yourself the leg of this woman. This woman has what is called elephantiasis, and every hospital has cast her away. They do not want to touch her. They do not want to go near her. Furthermore, she has no money. She cannot be able to do anything, and she is dependent upon people who can come to her and even bring to her anything. As you can imagine, lifting up that leg is near impossible for her. She cannot even walk. She cannot lift up that leg. She cannot even rise up to go and use the stool in a proper way. Brothers and sisters, I tell you, this woman, when we went to her, when our ministry went to her, man, this woman was filled with tears. She's crying and crying and crying. And we received phone calls from her, crying and crying and crying, pleading for help. My friends, this is something that is possible to be treated. I believe that God can do a quick work in a short time. This ministry of the Controversy 7 has its own medical missionaries. We have people who are nurses. We have people who know how to treat certain things. But the problem is, friends, is that we don't have our own small little building to bring people in and treat them. And I don't want to repeat the same thing that happened before, where our ministry got robbed by armed robbers when we were going to treat somebody who was sick. Brothers and sisters, we need to have our own healing centers, our own small buildings of medical missionary and sanitariums to treat people. And these buildings will be outside of the cities so that we can be able to operate without any type of interference. Even though things may go south in cities, we can have our own operation outside of the cities. Furthermore, brethren, I believe that it's time for us to educate people about healthy living. It's time to educate people how to treat certain diseases and certain sicknesses. This small building will also allow us to be able to do certain things like that, to train people. One of the main important things that surely must happen in this medical center is the power of deliverance. We are in the business of delivering people, casting out devils, and laying hands upon people, anointing people with oil, and praying over them. This will be a medical center that is first and foremost a deliverance center, and also this will be a medical center in which people receive the gospel when they go there. Imagine before receiving treatment, everybody is gathered together and they pray, and Bible study and early morning prayers are conducted before any work is done. Friends, this is to reveal what hospitals are supposed to be like. Hospitals are supposed to be, first and foremost, faith centers. That surely must be restored in these last days. Do you believe? You who are watching this video are very wonderful people. You who are watching this video are precious people, and God has ordained you for this hour. I want you to know that you are wonderful people whom God has ordained even for this very hour. Friends, we can raise up a building in a very short time, and if and when we receive the funds, this very sister, we can bring her in and we can immediately start the work of treating her. This is something that will take months before she is fully healed, but she will live. For this to happen, brethren, we need to purchase a small plot of land outside of the city to have the building up. Now, here's also another case. There's a pregnant woman who came to worship with us on the Sabbath. Friends, I have nothing else to say except to show you that you may see for yourself. This is a pregnant woman. You see her belly? Now, behold her face. This sister, oh brothers and sisters, is in great torment and in great pain. There's a tumor that has grown within her face. This tumor is like a rock. We have sent her to get tested. This rock-like tumor is non-cancerous. It's not a cancerous tumor, which means it is possible to have it removed safely within this stage, that is. Why do I say this? There comes a certain point where this tumor can no longer be removed, at which point the face of the individual will get deformed to the point where it is beyond recognition. This sister is in pain, and this tumor has been growing lately rapidly, even to the point of reaching her ear, and this thing is moving up to her nose. Brothers and sisters, you can see how deformed this woman's face is. She cannot even talk. She cannot even eat properly. I believe she's only consuming fluids. Imagine giving birth, going through all this pain in your face, and also going through birth pains. Imagine trying to kiss your baby and you can't even kiss your baby because your lips are deformed. We only have one doctor that we trust, one surgeon whom we trust that can be able to conduct this, and this is the American doctor, the doctor from the United States of America. He is down there right now, and he is ready to do this work. But he does not have much time because he's supposed to come back to the States. So we have short time to execute while he is there, friends. Friends, we need to have our own place of gathering, our own church fellowship, that people can come from all different walks of life, that they also may come and fellowship with us. Friends, one of the things that we surely must do, we must surely have a proper place of worship that people may come and worship with us. Furthermore, there is an evangelism that I wish to lead and have children be at the forefront of this evangelism. A while back, we held a massive evangelism in which children were at the forefront of this evangelism. Look at this video of these children who went out into the streets and with great power, and they were prophesying and they were preaching and they were shouting to people, speaking boldly against same-sex marriages. You see, friends, we need to have children at the forefront of evangelism. Friends, I tell you the truth, when we raise the funds that we need, you are going to see children on fire. Children are going to be on every corner in groups preaching the word with great power. Even let that be an astounding rebuke to the people who did not believe that children can prophesy. I believe in children. Why? Because God gave me a vision and I saw children prophesying. I surely want to help support children so that they may not be afraid to prophesy. Children must surely receive an opportunity to evangelize. The children need to have a proper place of gathering. The children need to have their own proper school for prophets. One that the rain cannot fall down upon them anyhow. These are among the things, friends, that we are trying to accomplish.
There are people that have necks that look like frogs. There's a woman that came to us. A woman that came to us. She has a neck that has this big tumor in it. And it made her neck look like that of a frog. I want you to observe this for yourselves. This young woman has a frog-like neck. And this is a case that has been brought to us. The tests have been done. It is not a cancerous tumor, but there's a big tumor that is even like a rock inside her body, in her neck. Man, I tell you, friends, there are things that are very strange in this world. No idea that this is even possible. I had no idea this is possible.
So what are we trying to raise, brothers and sisters? It is quite obvious. In order to accomplish this great work, oh my brothers and sisters, we will need much funding. But you know what? That is the beauty about it. For some reason, because it seems impossible, that is why I'm happy. Because it seems impossible. I wish you can understand this faith. I wish you can see what I'm trying to explain to you, brothers and sisters. Because it seems impossible, I'm excited. It seems as though when we claim things are impossible, God is saying, bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me, my child. Then watch what I do. And that's what I want to do. I want to prove God. Out of excitement, I want to prove and reveal God to the world. Now, even as this amount of work will require funds in excess of $1 million, which is nothing to God, I am going to set the bar to the number of my God, 7, the number of completion. 7, are there yet 7,000 who have not yet bent the knee to worship Baal? That is the marker. And make note, I have officially made myself a laughing stock before the nations. Before the whole world, I have officially made myself someone who can easily become a target of mockery. That's what I have just done. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with people making fun of me. I'm okay with people laughing at me. I'm fine. Are you ready to be a laughing stock for Christ's sake? That's the question. The true purpose of this GoFundMe is actually for a revelation and for a revealing of the characters of the people of God. Is the church united or is the church divided? And this is a testament before the whole world. Do God's people believe in the power of organizations, or do they believe that the time of the layman is come? Let the hearts of the people be revealed now. Whether you are a mocker or you are a supporter of the work of God, let your heart be exposed in Jesus' name. The marker is 7, but before we get there, is it possible for us to see 144,000? Is it possible to see 144,000? Let us see what our Father in heaven will do, and we'll just go step by step. It's possible for us to build self-sustaining communities that have their own gardens, have their own water sources, connect solar to them. And by the way, I have people in the States, there are friends that I know who can be able to help us attain solar. We can establish dome houses, we can establish tiny houses, we can do those kinds of things. This is very well possible, and I believe that we can be able to do this. The link to this GoFundMe is pinned at the comment section and also can be found in the video description box. Friends, the truth is I'm a little baby. I feel like a little child right now. I feel like, I feel like a little child who is so excited to prove his father to the whole world. That's what I feel like. That is a childlike faith. And I just want to prove my Father to the whole world. Father in heaven, please, I plead in the name of Jesus Christ, give me a voice that may echo to all the corners of the earth. And let me raise up my voice
Even let my voice become as the sound of a trumpet, and let me shout to the ends of the earth of your praise. And let the whole world see you, and let the world hear your voice when they hear me speak. Father, use me in a mighty way for your glory, for your honor. Turn me into one of your chief weapons of choice in these last days. I want to be a weapon in the hands of my God. Even, Father, as you used Moses in time of old, even as you used Joshua in time of old, even as you used my brother Elijah, even as you used my brother Daniel, even as you used Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, even as you used the apostles in the time of old. Father in heaven, the hour has come. Glorify your name. Lift up your name through your people. Hide not your face from me, O my Father. All I want to do is boast of you. All I want to do is shout your praise. All I want to do is glorify your name. It is finished. It is finished. It is done. My Father in heaven has given to me joy. I am filled with happiness. I am filled with peace. I am filled with sweet love from above. My friends, my mind is made. No one can change my mind. No. My mind is made. I had to come to a decision. I had to make a decision. I said, Father, that which you are giving to me, that which you are giving to me now, this is a very difficult task. However, because you are increasing my faith, I have made up my mind. I am ready to be a punching bag for you. I am ready to be a punching bag that people can punch and spit upon. And I'm excited. Does that make sense? Does it make sense for somebody to be excited to be a punching bag? It doesn't make sense. I tell you, this is the joy of salvation. When the joy of salvation has been restored upon you, when your Father in heaven gives you his joy that surpasses all understanding, who can shake that away from you? Who can shake you? Your foundation is firm. I stand upon Christ, the solid rock of my foundation. He is the foundation of my being. My mind is made. Let me be an example. If people are going to speak evil of me, let them speak evil of me. If people are going to make fun of me, let people make fun of me. I will aim high for my Father. He is the most high. I will never aim low. I will aim high for my Father. And if people come and mock me in person, so be it. Mock me in person. I have made up my mind that I am now officially welcoming this opportunity. It's an opportunity to be a punching bag for Christ. Let me look like a fool for Christ's sake. Let me be called a fool for Christ's sake. Let people make fun of me all they want. My faith, I have made up my mind. I'm ready. I'm ready to face the cross. Brothers and sisters, I have a big mountain to climb before me. Who wants to join me on this journey? There's a big mountain to climb. Many will be afraid to climb that mountain. I have accepted the challenge. I want to climb this mountain. To me, this mountain is Mount Sinai, and I'm going to meet my Father. I am going to climb that mountain. Brethren, we have work to do before us. 2024 is around the corner. Election year is around the corner. Now, usually things happen, and I believe that even as 2024 comes, as we near the end of 2024, I believe that we are about to see some strange things happening. Strange things are coming upon the world, and I don't believe that many people are prepared for it. I don't believe people are prepared.
And now I come to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. You, O Father, have restored upon me the joy of thy salvation, and I am filled with excitement. There is no ounce of doubt in mine heart, only joy and peace and love is all that I have, and I glorify you. Father in heaven, I trust you when you declare upon me that you love me with an everlasting love. Heavenly Father, please, I love you with an everlasting love despite my shortcomings. Father, please accept this profession that I bring to you. I truly, genuinely love you from the bottom of my heart. Search me, Father, and prove me and try me. Even so, help us to prove our love to you by living faithful lives to you. And let us carry your name wherever we go. In Jesus' name.